Discretion is advised.
Happy Monday, you are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 143. We are in patch 7.1.5. Tonight we are going to be talking about the patch, class balance reactions, huge hot fixes rolling out in attempt to fix some of the crap that they broke. Nighthold is coming this week, probably by the time you guys listen to this. We do have lore things to go along with that. We have that and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Belle, the PWNCAST Vanguard. The wolves whose howl can signal death's coming, Lycan. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
Welcome back. I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me, although they are muted. I suppose I should unmute. Let me see. All right.
Cut.
You're unmuted. No cutting needed. We did
the warlock that didn't unmute herself.
We had to do take two because my mic was muted, and I was just having a grand old conversation with just myself in this big, beautiful, empty office. So that's kind of embarrassing.
No, there's still a dry erase board and Clorox wipes and the spider,
and the printer.
That's
all good.
Yeah.
And
that's
the spaceship.
Right. There's a spaceship?
I got stuff over there.
Your router. It's the spaceship.
Oh, yeah, it is a spaceship. It's got like 8, 9, 12 antennas. I don't know.
I seen a newer one at work, and it made me think of you because you had that
model. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I did bring.
Now we know what she's gonna buy.
I did bring the monk. This makes me laugh because poor Gemma. I did bring the monk who thought Raiden was only in Mortal Kombat, and little did he know that is not the case.
He does exist in World of Warcraft.
Gemma Banks. Hello.
And he has Whoopsie! I didn't know. I was doing Throne of Thunder, and definitely during Mists of Pandaria, that was like when a lot of my friends quit. So no serious raiding, LFR baby, and just did a guild run with just for achievements. Right? It's actually kind of disappointing, right? It's kind of disappointing or sad that it's been this long and I haven't done heroic Throne of Thunder until now anyway, right? So it's a lot of achievements, but I'm like, who is this boss? He wasn't an LFR, and I was explained, and yeah, he's pretty cool. So you learn something every day.
Every day.
Can we solo Mr. Pandaria stuff
now?
now?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know about heroic, but yeah, you could definitely.
There's people soloing Mythic Pluses, so.
Yeah,
and it'd be a good thing to solo too, because if some of those pets, like if you're listening and you can solo those, or you do solo them, keep it up, because those pets sell for 50k gold a pop. Some of them 20k, but it's a good chunk of gold.
For sure.
That was.
Throne of Thunder was nice. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in there.
I liked it. I did like the visuals, and I thought the boss fights were cool. Of course, that's me saying that as an LFR baby.
That come out of there too. So
yes.
Tortoise boss was a dick.
Spent just enough time for what we needed to farm for the legendary cloak back then.
To move on to the
that's
next.
pretty much it. But I don't remember most of it. I feel like I was asleep through most of some of the end game stuff.
Just like Stage Ogrimmar and every other raid.
Yeah, pretty much. Fucking mind controls, man. That is one thing that will haunt me forever from Siege of Orgrimmar is the mind controls, because it was a source of secret screaming and me screaming.
I don't believe it. He screams. He doesn't look like
pretty
a
We all scream for ice cream, so
right.
It was pretty frustrating. We would
It
to
was.
get all the way to the end and then to wipe
And be
because
fucked.
mind controls. It was. I mean, it was.
Remedies. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
What hasn't he done is really the question.
Can't even say on here. Can't even say on here.
I did also bring the priest who put some holy hot sauce on his tacos today. I didn't get tacos.
I did.
Secret, you didn't bring me tacos.
You live too fucking far.
I
I ate them for you. I thought about you every single
Made in
bite.
It's
spirit.
almost
Yes.
just as good then.
They were
as
good too.
Me
So
being able to enjoy them.
yeah, that was my breakfast. So since I took a 7-hour nap. Yes.
Really?
That's just called a sleep.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it's
isn't that
it's a
just?
nap.
Didn't you just go to bed?
No, it's a nap.
If it's 7 hours, is it considered a nap?
Yeah. Anything under 8 is considered a nap.
Well,
so
then I
I
don't sleep
never
ever. Then I
sleep
just
at all.
nap because
No,
I
I went to
average
sleep.
5
I
hours
was
a
burnt
night.
out. So
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
enough.
no, it's not. Well, the only time I go to bed early is if I force myself with like my sleep drink and
Very
or
valid.
if you want strawberry
I drank.
shortcake or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
what? What did you say? You want strawberry shortcake? That's weird.
I love
Put
strawberry
some
shortcake.
hot sauce on my burrito, baby.
I did also bring the paladin who consecrated in his pants during raid. Remedies, what did you do?
You.
Uh,
The doo-doo?
I did
Sea-doo?
the doo-doo, yeah. Got scared. I ran.
No tanking
And
them?
then I died. No. No tanking.
You concentrated so hard on
I-
though.
No, it's mostly mythics on the paladin. Lots and lots of mythics on the tunes.
He's shy. He was saying he was carrying some people. Now he's all
He said
coy
that.
and shy. Are you shy live, Remedies?
Huh?
A
No.
little
I mean, I did the DPS to help the raid, but I mean...
Sure did. And for that we thank you.
I did good DPS.
I mean, it could be worse. I'm not really sure
We're
how I'm
good?
trying to think of how it could
Oh,
be worse.
Tuesday it'll be worse, don't worry.
Could forget to unmute yourself for an intro.
I know. That's not the first time I've done that, guys. I'm
Yeah,
not the
you're fine.
brightest. So,
We still appreciate you.
I want to...
Aw.
shucks.
Gonna make her blush.
I wanted to open up the news
She
with
blushes
just a
all day.
very small covering of the Nostarius and Elysium situation. We don't like to talk about it much because we all know, we don't.
I can't go back to that. Like
Yeah,
It's just-
because we are, Blizzard's people, we don't condone or, anything the use of private servers that Blizzard does not. If Blizzard's not okay with it, we ain't jiving with it. So Nostarius released a statement on Saturday basically saying that they had second thoughts about handing over their source code to a pretty similar project, which is Elysium.
right.
Basically, they claimed in the statement that by giving up their code, their main objective was missed. Despite the legacy server, the petition reaching over like 300,000 signatures, only 10% of Nostalrius's users actively participate on Elysium. So, okay, we all thought this was really great. Elysium was relaunching, except not really, just kidding, because only 10% of the
Right.
entire population, which was a pretty vast population on their vanilla progressive server, which is what they label it. So basically, their two main objectives were this: to achieve official Blizzard legacy servers. Blizzard was like, not happening. For whatever their reasons are, maybe because they have plans on the future. We don't really know. We can't comment because we're not Blizzard. And they wanted to help as much as they can to unify the WoW community. I'm gonna call BS on that because I don't know how making your own servers unifying the WoW community, because it pretty much splits
Let's take it away from it.
it splits the community between the people that pay and the people that don't. So I don't really know what your objective in that regard was, but I mean, whatever you felt it was, I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to let you know that you were not, in fact, unifying the WoW community. You were splitting the WoW community.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, the way that they feel is that they made their goals hard to achieve when they asked Elysium to join their effort for Legacy Realms by stopping the use of their data that Nostalrius provided. The statement added that by Nostalrius saying they were working on multiple ideas in which way to go in the right direction and apologize to their former players. So basically, one of the problems that they had is the stigma that went along with their going with Nostalrius. What was it? I'm trying to find the right word that they used. Shady practices or WoW pirates is what I think. It's because Elysium is not US, maybe, question mark. I'm not really 100% sure on that.
Sounds valid.
Yeah, I don't take care of any of that, but I don't really know what this means for either server. Don't really know that I care in a large part, but I know that some of you are probably interested in that. We didn't cover it on the PDQ because I didn't feel like it was important enough, but
I mean, it really
And it's
isn't
again
at the end of the day.
TOS, so...
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we're all current. I just I've gone on one of those private servers like in the past, like maybe 7 years ago, just to. I can't say the term I was about to say. Just to bullshit. It's just it wasn't there. Like I've already done it. I don't want to go back to it. Like if I want to go back to something, I'll read a book. At the end of the day, we have
I
all
think
content.
you were.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
you were
look-
just tired about hearing about it too. Remember when it originally happened, the whole
God.
private server thing, Belle. You were very vocal of just like I'm sick of just hearing about it because it was dragged on for a long
And
time.
it was funny because some of the people that I was hearing it from are avid wowers that play retail, you know? So it was just really weird. We had a guildie recently who went and checked it out. They had been playing because they wanted to know what their class was like before they started playing.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Like that makes sense to me. I appreciate that you gave the effort because you wanted to see, you know, where your class changes have taken you. But the thing about it is Elysium, they have no intention on stopping. Basically, their quote was they had posted a statement, but it had been leaked. They weren't ready to post it, I guess. So basically, they said Nostalrius handed us the torch, and we have no intention of putting it out. So some of their insight: we're using this opportunity to communicate the first numbers of this project, which is this: 52% of Nostalrius's active accounts transferred over 16 days. Token generator uptime, 155% increase of active accounts compared to Nostalrius. How is it 10% of the population went over, but their numbers are completely counteractive of what was stated?
Maybe those are like actually active people playing compared to like I could make an account over there and be like, hey, cool, I'm part of your server. Get what I'm saying?
50% of the total accounts were active in the last 7 days. 17,000 players simultaneously online for relaunch. 30,500 players simultaneously on launch over 4 realms. 62 volunteers.
Wow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would love to go back to AQ40 and watch the gates open, like the real deal type stuff. But I'm not gonna level all over again. Fuck that. That's
Well, it take
impossible.
even longer too, right? Because remember how long
exactly.
it took to level?
I feel
Yeah.
like there might be something we don't know that happened in
There's
the
probably a lot we
background.
don't know.
Perhaps they gave Elysium too much control. I'm not really sure, you know, of the ins and outs.
Right.
I know that anytime you merge, sometimes it's a bad idea, right? It's just,
Either way,
Yeah.
it's gonna be shut down. So
yeah,
it's okay.
you lose your creative control and you lose, you know, often your ideas become the other party's ideas and it just kind of merges and then your original intent just kind of gets jumbled. So whatever they choose to do is whatever they choose to do. Hopefully you guys are still playing, you know, retail where the majority of the population is. Blizzard's arm's not going to be twisted, guys. They're at least Nostalrius tried to force the hand and they seen, you know, it didn't really get them very far. So
The Doomhammer got dropped.
yeah.
Pretty
So,
much.
just wanted to lead off with that so that you guys at least had some information regarding that. And in other news, the Stranglethorn fishing tournament is back. So make sure you go
That's a
get
big
your
deal.
salty title by way of the Accomplished Angler achievement.
Okay,
I've-
now with that though, it's now the way it works. It's across all servers, the top 50 in all regions. Well,
That's
not I don't
cool.
think AEU and all that, but all of NA, top 50.
Yeah, we
Good
covered
luck.
it like when they first talked about it, and some people were not
Yeah, we
happy
did.
about it at all. They
I mean,
were
I know
not.
someone that got it recently, but
That's
We
a
also
lot of
addressed that at
competition.
BlizzCon too,
We did,
right? That was
yeah.
a question.
And
Remedies, are you salty? Do you have the title? Sorry to interrupt. I assume you do, just based on.
No, I
you
don't
being
need the
you,
title to be salty.
right?
he was
So you
born
don't?
salty.
Whoa.
Right.
Was born with sodium chloride. That's right.
I don't think I've ever competed, but I know that the competition is stiff. Like I've seen.
Oh yeah, it really is. It's legit.
Whoa.
Like people are out there like
Yeah,
fishing
they
for.
take their fishing super serious.
Yeah, serious.
Me
So
not so
serious.
I missed it by like 2 minutes. I was
Really?
pissed. Yeah.
That's actually impressive.
I was so close to attempting it, and I never did. I was just so.
I drop my bobber in the water and forget that the bobber's in the water, and I'll do something else, and
That
I'll
sounds
swirl.
100% like you.
But look how far you came, though, Belle. You were that then, and now you have your artifact fishing pole.
I have so many
Oh, do you
fishing
really?
achievements. Yeah, I have like all the major fishing achievements.
have
you
you
used
been
it, though?
using it? I was just gonna ask. Well, so much work she did to make the guide and everything, right? But
it was
she was
great
probably like
for
done.
5 minutes, and I felt really good, and I felt really, you know, I felt like I accomplished
achieved something.
And
Yeah.
then 5 minutes later,
That's
it was
it.
just
It's like you do that drawing for your parents, they put it on the fridge, by the end of the night it's gone.
They
and
know
then
you're
when
a
you don't
shit
notice,
star.
they toss it in the trash. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
That's your fishing pole.
But it's there, and I have that every time I go into my bank and I see it. I feel good knowing that it's there. So, I mean,
That's valid.
At least I'll always have that. And I
Yeah.
did it for the guide, which I guess was a good thing.
Did it for the honeys.
Now, all you hunters out there, a new spirit beast is available with the new patch. Lightning Paw, which is in Duskwood. Basically, it's super hidden in the
It's a
Raven
fox,
Hill
right?
Cemetery. Yes.
I know. I've seen it.
It's a fox, has a lightning ripple effect, pretty legit. So if you're a hunter, go to Raven Hill
Ooh.
Cemetery in Duskwood and go get you.
Can I go do it right now?
What did
No.
it say though? What
All
did it
right,
say?
logging on.
We're not doing what the fox said. You know, there was a moment where I banned
Whoop,
that.
up,
That was not whenever my
remedies.
kids would say
I
that.
wanted.
I
yeah.
would say you're banned. Don't. That's not allowed in this house.
What did they say?
I'm not.
Whoop, pow.
We're worse than our kids sometimes, I think.
Oh well.
Before we get into the class changes, because we actually have a topic for discussion that goes along with that from Spanky Hunter on Twitter. But let's talk about legendaries. You'll have the chance to get 940. So hopefully you guys were smart and saved your emissaries for after reset tomorrow, because then you have an opportunity of getting a 940 legendary from that.
Sure didn't.
Oh,
You did, right?
I did, only because
Well, I'm only trying to get my stupid 200 world quest for my hidden skin.
yeah, and that's, you
Pain in
want to
my
get that. That's
fucking
important
ass.
for sure. But Nighthold, by the time most of you listen or watch this, Nighthold will already be out. The gear item level is as follows, which normal and heroic are opening tomorrow. A couple weeks from there, we'll expect to see LFR and Mythic. LFR is dropping 855 and upwards. Of course, the bosses progress with the higher
Right.
item level. You can always get Warforged, Titan Forged, all the Forged. Normal is going to drop 870, which it's really crappy because we work so hard to get this gear in each tier, and then
That's how it goes.
I know,
That's how I
it's-
got burnt out from raiding last expansion. I raided Highmaul on it was only heroic, so it's not like crazy scaled, but on 4 different tunes or three healers like a lot, and then Blackrock Foundry comes out and
everything you did was just for nothing, which you needed to
in
go
a
to
way-
the next tier, but yeah.
Right.
yeah, at least your team is prepared to hop into real
I mean,
raiding when
It
it
would make
happens.
sense if, say, tier set 1, say 850, we'll just use that number, and then tier set 2 was, say, 860. You know, get what I'm saying? That way there's at least some sort of a gap to make it, you showed your worth of why you need to go to this next level.
Agreed.
But I mean, when it actually starts out at the tier that you're already at, the item level, kind of defeats the purpose. But I mean, because you can get that same item level with Titan Forge from the last raid, and it'd still be even better than what you can get from the current stuff. So I mean, I get it, but that's a difference that they probably need to address eventually.
Make it
But
worth
people are
my
going to raid
while.
regardless.
And
Yeah,
it's always been that way, right? Really,
Yes.
every expansion, really.
yeah,
More so now with the Titan Forge system.
True,
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Or for Titan Forge, I mean, getting
So-
Titan Forge, regardless of what the hell it is fantastic.
It's true, even in PvP stuff I've learned, which we'll talk about that later. But yeah, you're right. Titan Forged, anything is a win. Not necessarily for stats, though.
Yeah, some of the stats are shit.
Yeah, it's
Just saying.
the piece
all
I
that
got
first
last
stuff.
night on Helia for heroic. It was 890, right? And great, 890
Congrats.
piece. Thanks, a fucking heap. But it
Versatility.
takes all of my major stats that are my priority.
What's on it though? I'm curious.
No, it
Not
was
to
haste,
troll you, I
it was
really
haste
don't-
and mastery.
Haste and
So
mastery.
it was
Right.
actually good.
Not
for her.
versatility.
It isn't good for me if it takes my haste and mastery. Basically, the 860 piece I'm wearing had more haste and mastery. Just throwing that out there.
Ouch.
No joke.
It had
Fuck.
more mastery.
If only you could.
I
forge
think you had
that
your glasses on,
correctly.
But the new item had more haste.
No, the new item had less haste. That's why I didn't put it on.
Would you say
You
Remedy's
can't
being
argue
hasty
with
with that
Remedies.
comment then?
It
No,
had
'cause
more
I was
mastery,
asking.
but it had less haste. That makes my chaos bolt go up to like 3 seconds. So, but I think I know they're fixing that, so I'm gonna try not to harp.
Right.
I'm not gonna beat that dead horse.
Yeah.
So 855 for LFR, 870 for normal, 885 for heroic, and 900 for mythic for the
Ooh.
gear drops. Keep in mind that's plus, so it can go up
Yeah,
to
right.
that. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what you
I
guys
can't
can
rate it
expect to see.
read Mythic.
Right. Well, I was talking maybe last night or the night before with Rem, and one of the things that we had talked about is, okay, when we first started raiding, we were a normal guild. We were a normal raid guild. That was what we called ourselves.
I didn't call it that ever.
Well, I did just because we even struggled in normals. Then now with
Yeah, but we had that curve. It was a big curve,
we did.
big hump, whatever you want to call it. And I started calling this a heroic guild because that's what we turned
I
into.
didn't start until this this expansion.
Belle is hesitant to do that though. Yeah.
Fuck.
I just think it's because it came not relatively easy. We worked hard for it, but it just seemed we grew a lot in nature,
Well, we
right?
did because we turned into 2 raid teams to
Right.
about 50, 60 people compared to
did a lot of
last
work.
expansion. It was a solid 22
so
people.
for sure
that
heroic now. So
Yeah.
it's going to
No,
be
absolutely.
exciting to see what
Mythic.
the next set brings with Mythic and seeing if that's
I
actually.
mean,
gonna be
I
a
wouldn't even care if
possibility.
we went back and did mythic stuff just from this last place. You know,
Yeah.
from
The
Nightmare.
transmog is
Previous
always
years,
cool, right?
yeah. Oh,
And
Transmos
just
are
saying
always
you
great.
did it, even if it wasn't AOTC, still just
Hey.
completing it. I think we definitely like. I wouldn't want to go back and do like Warlords and be like, oh, I'm a Mythic Raider. But I think same expansion. I think still counts. It's not.
I would
Yeah.
say so
You know.
because that's
Well,
just still
because-
hard even with better gear. So
I'm probably not the best guy to say that, but the mechanics are that much harder, right? Is Mythic
yeah, there's
Mythic
still stuff
throws
that's
a bunch
changed.
of
It's
curves,
usually a
right?
different subset of mechanics too.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, always the problem with that is people go like, "Oh, you got that after this date, which is after like this nerf, so it doesn't really
Right.
count." That always kind of.
Well,
Yeah.
when if you're not wiping my blood up off the floor, then it counts. So that's
If you're not paying for my account, you can shut it.
yeah, like it counts to me.
That's a classic quote from Belle. Yeah, if you ain't paying my subscription,
It's a little bit different, but yeah.
With Nighthold opening, players who have acquired at least one legendary weapon will find a quest in Dalaran, which is what we've talked about to upgrade their legendary from 910 to 940. The quest, as we talked about previously, involves a number, I think it's 50 essences of Amenthal.
Almond
You're close. I'm
We're
Thule.
just going to leave it at that. I'm close, guys. See?
Almond milk. I love
so-
that stuff.
it's good.
We were right about it being dropping from Nighthold bosses. However, it also drops from weekly mythic cache, keystone caches, emissary bags, PvP weekly quests. You can get the essences that you need. How cool is that?
Oh.
Variety.
So if you guys have any +2 mythics that need a healer, I'm game.
That's right. But how nice is that they're giving you a plethora of, and it's a little bit higher gear, higher tier stuff. The emissary, not so
That
much.
was a big word.
I know, right?
Let's all try to use that word throughout the show.
Your
At least
Urethra?
once. What?
So once you've completed the quest, you'll be given that distilled Titan essence, which you basically consume, upgrades the legendary item you have to 940. The quest, ooh,
Now,
guys,
can you only get one?
the quest is repeatable.
Okay, thank you.
So we can have a plethora of quests.
Now, that was a
Awesome.
question before because we didn't have much information to go on, and previously we thought that it was tied to another quest line, right? Turns
Right.
out that it's not, and it is repeatable, so you can upgrade any legendary you have. Cool. More
How about that?
OPOP. Wreck face. Awesome.
That's a
OPPP?
plethora of happiness.
And with the opening of Nighthold, we already talked about this. The item level of the new legendaries that drop are 940. Does not retroactive. So
Right,
whatever you
yeah.
got back
You
there,
got to upgrade the path.
you
yeah.
can upgrade them easily.
Ooh,
So-
new contest. Who gets the first 940 on the podcast?
Also, the essences
Fucking not me.
drop from all difficulties in Nighthold.
Oh,
So you
that's
can do
cool.
LFR as well to get those essences. So, I mean,
I mean, that was-
that was
a big
they
deal
should
for a
have
lot of
just
people,
given
too.
you the crap at this point.
That's good news for Jimbo's. Jimbo.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a whole lot of time to maybe do full, raids every single week. You can
Right.
spread it out and do other stuff. Now, let me tell you what is smart about the reason why they're doing this, and
Tell you this.
maybe you guys can agree or disagree. They want people to run this other content, right? What happens when we're doing mythic dungeons and we're doing raid content and we're doing emissaries? That procs legendaries to drop all over the server. So
course, yeah.
in doing that, they're forcing players to do the other content, which is going to proc the legendaries to drop because that's the way that their
More so.
their code works. So it's better for us in the long run because we'll be able to get more legendaries.
Well,
No,
they
I
get
get
a lot
that.
of complaints too. Like LFR was created because people. It's not hard to get into normal groups, but a lot of people just don't do it because it's
A lot
involved.
of people don't have the time to really do it that way either. Like,
Doing
get
a
it.
full raid is different than going and busting out a Mythic Plus, right? Or doing your emissary solo, right? So raiding, it sucks when that is the only thing you can do for it. Unless it's something raid specific and reward, I do agree that it shouldn't be just attached to that. And they have something for PvPers as well. So PvPers can go and do the PvP quest line and still be able to get it if they're not.
What?
True.
Yeah,
I know, right?
I think they did a really good job with that. I'm gonna tip Fedora because I think that that's really good. Tip in the Fedora. So, raid.
Tip in the dough. We've been the
Boss order. Oh, I'm gonna freaking.
Yep, do it.
I'm
Do it.
gonna
I want to hear
just
this shit.
ruin.
I want to hear it.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Release Belle.
You have to defeat.
Hurry up.
Scorpiron?
Oh, shit.
Scorpiron?
Get over here.
Remedies?
I'm over here trying to
Spell
look
check
it up
me,
on my phone real
Scorpiron.
quick.
Chronomatic,
Remedies.
Anomaly, and Trilliax. Did I get any of those right?
Perfect. On
Yeah,
point.
you're-
So you
spot
have
on.
to defeat those bosses in order to have access to the next set of 5 bosses. No ifs, ands, or buts. Those are the 4 bosses you have to kill in order to be able to move on. Then the next 5 can be killed in any order. So it's basically it's like partially nonlinear. So the first
Yeah, you can.
first 4 you
dictate
have to
how
do in
want
that
to do it.
order. Then the second 5 or the next set of the 5 can be done in any order you so choose.
Yeah, they do that because you're making your way through the tunnels and then going up.
Then the remaining 2 bosses, you'll do Elisande and then Gul'dan, obviously, which is
There you go.
nice.
Yeah, you should be able to say the last 4.
So, normal and difficulties open today or this week, whenever you guys listen. January 24th, Mythic and Raid Finder Wing 1.
Wow.
Tuesday, February 7th, Wing 2 for LFR. And basically the next set every week after that is a different wing of LFR, which is nice. So,
Cool.
So I pulled it up. You can kind of see it, and it shows the type of gear that each one of these bosses drops too, like item level, which is actually pretty neat. So Gul'dan, being the douchebag that he is, for just normal drops
he's
880.
a nice
so that's-
lady.
Yeah, he plants flowers too. 880. So think of Titan Forge. That's going to go up to 900.
Is that for
900
heroic
plus.
or normal?
That's normal.
Ooh.
Heroic is 895. So that's going to be a very pretty chunk of armor on you or whatever.
Not an easy fight.
Not an easy fight at all, of course not.
I've
But,
watched
it's kind of
videos.
cool. The first 3 bosses, normal is 870. I have that on right now, but that's with mythic pluses and stuff like that too. So
We'll leave that for another topic of discussion.
yeah.
At another time. No. I wanted to talk about the way that they're going with item level. At some point, there's going to have to be a squish, but I'd like to save that for another
There
day.
for sure is.
Do you think
yeah.
this expansion or
I do, and I think it'd probably be good if I know someone
Tune in
had
next
asked.
week.
I want to say that it was Horde for Life had he had tweeted to me in a DM about stat squishing and stuff like that, and I think it'd be a really good topic for a future episode for us to just talk about how
They did that
They'll
last
have-
expansion, right?
Yeah.
They
They
did
have
that.
to do now that they
They're
They
did.
did the DPS squish last
they're
expansion.
getting
That's what happened.
they're getting back up
They
there
did-
in numbers.
It was stats, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes
'Cause-
sense.
Of course, they
We would
have
be in at 2 million DPS right now if they didn't.
fuck, more.
I mean that.
Which I mean, it
800
looks awesome
that
and all, but I
800
mean,
crit chaos bolt though.
in relative terms, we're doing the same DPS as we're doing during Lich King. So,
True.
wait,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
in terms
Lich
of at
King-
that time, yeah,
Oh yeah.
Now,
you were amazing if you could pull 10k.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm trying to grasp what.
next
Like-
Mind
up,
blown,
Same.
Jimma.
No, I'm like it's not the same numbers. I'm like it was like 16k. I remember after the last patch of Lich King, mages were doing 21k, and people were like, oh my gosh.
Oh, if they
That's
rolled everything back, like eye level stats and everything like Wrath, I would be ecstatic.
So they made changes 7.1.5.
Thank God.
This week they're doing a full reset, reverting some of those changes or fixing some of those changes because they kind of went a little ham. They nerfed
A lot.
a lot. There's really too much to mention, but specifically hunters felt the brunt of it with
They sure did.
marksmen. A lot of changes, which after we talk about some of these changes, I got a really cool topic of discussion from Spanky Hunter, who basically, so should you really do huge changes right before a raid tier?
Absolutely not.
I mean,
never.
That's kind of, I
Maybe
don't really
during,
know.
like 2 months during,
Yeah.
maybe. but not
Instead,
not the
they
week of.
broke a bunch of shit right before raid tier, and even we have
Mhm.
guildies that are freaking out about some of these changes. Like,
The community.
Enhancement was like, "Oh, just kidding. You're
Oh,
not
they
going to
got
be.
the hammer.
Yeah, you're not going to be doing any kind of damage. We were just joking. You guys can just suck eggs."
Yeah, make an alt.
Hunters, meanwhile, other classes
They had to
they
switch their
made
entire
more
stats.
OP.
That's fucked up.
Which we talked about. I was yelling at Rem the other day because he was really excited for the patch to come out because they gave a huge buff to Shadow Priest, and I thought, wasn't that fucking amazing? We buffed an already OP class. Thanks a lot. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It wasn't a buff. It was a nerf with a leveling the playing field.
Right.
I seen your damage, okay?
Too, I've seen it today.
Bruh.
It's because I'm
It's 10.
awesome.
But, and this might not be a popular choice of words, but when Blizzard does those changes, I think their goal is to balance or do right by the players, but it's just so many numbers and spells that they're gonna fuck up. And
For sure.
people do freak out. I was just thinking, is it worth it for people to freak out because they're gonna fix the errors? But I think those freakouts help them realize and change faster.
Yeah, people
so
need to freak
Well,
out. Especially
yeah.
to destroy an entire class. I mean,
I
an entire class that spent 7 months gearing by what needs to be done.
Especially for Nighthold raiders that have
Yeah.
done their talents, their enchants, their gear,
all that time.
everything that they have done, their legendary farming
Enchant's
even.
not cheap this expansion
Well,
at all.
Done it
I
for
think we
certain
all know
spec-
one
you
or
know,
two people that say they're going to switch their class
Mhm.
just
And-
based on the
We know
changes.
people that
And
said they
they've-
would stop play.
They've
Right?
spent an entire beginning of an expansion progressing through the tiers that we have with rating mythics based
Right.
off a certain number. That certain number, yes, it's supposed to change, but some of these were like major adjustments. Now
They might
the
as well just
idea
deleted
is,
the character.
how dumb was that for them to do that right before a raid
At
tier?
this point, yeah.
Right?
Terrible.
It's the same thing with the PvP and making the extra traits. They halfway
off.
through, partially through a season, they made a major change, which is going to hurt a lot of people. Then they
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, "Oh, just kidding. Maybe we shouldn't do that in mid-season because that pissed people off." But I
So-
think the idea here is why. His question is, do you think Blizzard's rushing too much with some of these major changes? What are your guys'
I was
thoughts
just going to
on that?
ask that. I was going to say, do you guys...
100%.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
So would you have preferred then them not do any class changes or do fewer or just...
I would rather not do class changes as an entirety. I'd rather them do nerfs to certain abilities, stuff like that. Like, I get it. It's going to happen, but not before a raid, not before a PvP season, not before any of that type of stuff.
I
Well, yeah,
And-
the timing and there was no like feedback at all with some of these changes. Like if they were just like, oh, the parsers show this, so we're just gonna do this, and like everyone's like, WT fuck.
Raid. So we all assembled to go in and test raid, right? We all assembled to go in and test raid, but they didn't announce like a raid time. They just shut it off randomly. How much raid testing can they actually do with the class changes is my problem. So we went in there one day and that was all you could test. There wasn't any more raid. I think the changes would have been fine because these changes have been in PTR for how long, right? A bulk of these changes had been in PTR for like 2 months. However, how much testing did you really do with real life numbers in PTR with raid? With people actually going and doing these groups and testing with raid numbers. I'm
Right.
not talking about your method and your limit and all these other guilds that go in PTR to test raid changes so that they know what they're walking into for, the world first.
Yeah,
How
ask the
much
mom and
did
pop
you
guilds.
actually test this data in raid in PTR? I think it's okay that they did that, except where was your testing numbers? You didn't know all this shit sucked before you did
So do you think, because you just said like a lot of those big raid teams were in PTR testing, right? So do you think Blizzard should just be closer to those top end guilds and really get more feedback from the people that are really testing? Because I'm sure they had complaints with some of these changes, but it's not really on fire until you have 4 million people on the forum saying, I'm going to quit my class or I'm going to quit playing because you effed up my class,
that's
right?
kinda
So
valid.
Okay, so the
So-
problem with that was a lot of people on the forums were giving solid feedback, and it was pretty much ignored at this point.
Yeah.
And the problem, I think it's great that you lean on these high tier guys, right? Because these guys are the ones that are going through this better than anybody else is. However, I do think the little guy has a different perspective on play style when it comes
course.
to doing certain things. So I think a handful of both, right? Like
right.
take a median. Yes, lean on your high tier guys, because these guys are going to tell you what's fucked up with your shit. They're
Well,
going to
the
tell you
reason-
right away.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the reason why, good, you do need both perspectives, but sometimes people complain and they're not really valid.
Agreed.
A lot of people think they
course,
know the
yeah.
game and they're kind of bad at what they're doing. So the reason why I said those guys, so
They should
because
have been
they're
doing more testing.
they treat it like a job, right? They're in there for hours. So like Hots is probably playing right now. He hasn't slept in 48 hours and he's still testing stuff. So
we made all these changes with 7.1.5 and we tested this in PTR. We went live. Everybody in live freaked out. What is the breakdown here? Where are we missing this communication? Are not enough people testing PTR? Maybe you should stop opening PTR to everybody and consider small little beta rollouts, perhaps. PTR is open enough to where you could do a couple weeks of beta waves to people, analyze their habits, find the people that are actually playing the game and not just dicking around in PTR because they don't want to pay the $15 fucking that month, right? Like maybe I think it might be the quality of testers
Those
too.
don't exist. How
And I'm
dare
not
you.
insulting anyone, guys. So before
No,
anybody freaks
you're
out,
right.
they're like, I always give quality, blah, 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 blah. When we all got beta, what did I keep saying? Hey, if you have beta, please go to the forums.
Yeah.
Please look at the data. Please give them what the information that they're needing. Don't just take beta because you got beta. Like, do something with that beta so that we can fix anything that's broke. I do think they're rushing, but I think they're rushing because they think they're getting bad feedback. I think they're not paying attention to what they're doing. I think if they isolated their base of testers in a different manner, I think they wouldn't have big issues with, oh, just kidding, we nerfed enhancement to the fucking ground. Now you can just throw your hammer at someone. That's the damage you can do. Oh, but now we're going to fix it. Just kidding. We're giving you all your stuff back because we made a mistake. We're going to remove all the hunter traps because hunters, that's what you're known for, is your traps. We're going to take them all. Just kidding. We're going to give them all back to you because everybody freaked out.
Well, there needs to be the testing, but yeah, they're being very not only drastic, but it's like a very quick reversal, and they're changing everything too quickly.
They're like low end. It's like they're dealing with low end hookers. Low end hookers aren't really choosy, right? On the people and the customers. They're not
You don't
really
have 20?
choosy.
We'll do it for 10.
Yeah, they're just letting everybody take a spin, right? Take a spin in the mobile, take a
got
ride
changed
in
for
the
a
car. Maybe if they were like the top end
gonna earn it.
hookers, where they would allow you had a higher end clientele.
Are we
right?
using this fucking goddamn comparison? Are you kidding me?
Did you pre-think that?
I
It's like
She
Hookers.
was
I was
Yeah.
thinking in my
like
mind, and I was
profile.
like, okay, how can I relate this to real life?
God,
Obviously,
I
I'm not a
just drink
hooker,
after
but I
that.
feel like I could maybe be a
God.
madam that doesn't sleep with people, just runs the business because they have a really good business sense. No, but if you think about it that way, like they're just kind of letting anybody in the door to do this testing. What if you were a little bit more selective with your process, and that's where you got the actual factual and true numbers, and not just from any schmagegi who logs in and can do it, right? Does that seem? What do you guys think
What if
about
that
that?
two names taken?
Well, part of the problem too is like back in WoD when it was the High Mall and you had those twin ogre bosses.
yeah.
Windwalker I played a lot of during that raid, and like it was the parses were inflated because the two targets and made it amazing for your DPS, and so they nerfed pretty much blanket nerf on everything, and so your DPS was complete garbage. And so that's the same thing they did with like Shadow Priest and Hunters, for instance. Like they were amazing right now. Like Shadow Priests are good. Hunters are mid game and they're getting a buff. The 8% people aren't really happy
buff.
about that. But no, Shadow Priest won't be good single target at all.
What do you think, David? I mean, Secret?
Ooh. Kudos gun. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's really
What
bad.
would you do if you were them,
super bad
though?
timing. Huh?
How would you pick your player base of testers? What would be the criteria if you were the boss? Somebody said, Secret, you are the man. How would you go about defining your player base that does this testing so that you don't blow it?
Well, the way to look at it too, and from that aspect and that angle is sure. Let's grab a few people from these high-end rated guilds. I get it. They're the ones that are in there day in day out. They get paid for this. This is their job, and whatnot. But at the same time, let's pull people from that are constantly raiding these mid-level guilds, the low-end guilds that just do it on Thursday nights, and this is their time to spend time together as a group. But there's a lot of people like that. The little guys, and I'm going to use that term very openly, that there's little guys in writers, there's little guys in a lot of guilds that know a lot of stuff. No. Just they're nobody. That's what I'm trying to say. They're just
they're
nobody
not the
to
big
World of Warcraft. Yeah, and they have a lot of knowledge, and these are people that number crunch. These are people that do a lot of homework and stuff like that. But sure, they could post whatever they want, but at the end of the day, Blizzard's, hey, let's look at, just say Secret Sauce. He has 4 posts on the entire forum. I'm not gonna listen to him. And I don't want to say that's the angle that it happens at, but it could be. I mean, I do this at work every day.
Do your guys at Blizzard test this shit before they put this on PTR?
Well, I'm
Who
sure
the
they
fuck is
did.
QAing this garbage?
They have to test it. They really do. But to what level do they test it?
Right,
hey, cool. The damage and the DPS is mediocre. It's okay.
What
it's not that big
factors
of
are
a
you putting in?
Yeah, but what type of gear are they doing this shit in? Let's look at that.
Yeah.
That's also very valid, yeah.
And
Put
the team
that
of people
in a
you
pure
have with their
LFR
strengths
gear.
and weaknesses for comp,
Yeah.
right?
Well, for some classes, this one trinket will make you good. If you don't have it, you're nothing.
Outlaw Rogue. If you don't have the Eye of Command, you're shit right now. And
Yeah, a
I mean,
legendary
there's so much stuff that can go into play. Just give somebody basic gear, basic fucking trinkets, no legendaries, and that's key. Because if you have 2 legendaries that are best in slot for you, of course you're gonna blow up through the roof of DPS.
Realistic, basically. Give us something
that's what it's
realistic
coming
testing.
down to. Legendaries are going to make you better.
You need to
And
I think they're basing a lot of the numbers off of legendaries.
You
is
need to
why
get a
they're doing
group
lot
of
the moving.
people all in a LAN party that's sitting around in their fucking underwear with Mountain Dew bottles
Duct
stacked
tape to
on
the
top
ceiling.
with pizza
Good.
boxes and tacos and Doritos and Cheetos, and
It's Lex-
you need to make that a real testing session. Pull some real
no,
life
and,
gamers.
I mean, really, it should. They should shoot out beta invites for like PTR, and I know those are 2 different things, but I know you get what I'm trying to say. For just
A testing
people
invite,
that
right?
are on, people that are on a lot, people that are rating, people that are that are on the forums. And I know it'd be a lot of work to pick out people like that, but at the end of the day, it would make more
It's the
sense
push
to
of a
have.
button. They collect data for
No,
everything.
I know, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm getting at, and that way you can get so many different avenues of why people are complaining, why people aren't complaining, why people are okay with it, why people aren't, and you would see it on that level. Because I appreciate what Method does, I appreciate what Midwinter does, all these other guilds, these top guilds. I would love to do that, but I fucking can't. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I would like to see what Johnny Rocks or whoever the hell they are that raid and enjoy raiding. I want to see what they think really about it and doing it from that standpoint.
So do we agree there's a lack of players testing it on the PTRs?
I think they're getting bad data, and I do think that they're rushing because they're going off. I think their data is their problem. I think their player base of their testers. I can't imagine in PTR.
I mean, how many people in this PTR have macros? I'm going to say maybe 5.
You freaked out about the enhancement changes on PTR?
Well, how long was 1.5 out? Like a week now?
Yeah, but and it was in
Only been a
PTR for
week.
how long? It's been like 2-3 months in PTR, right? 2 months?
Well, I mean, but it's a week later, and they're already doing changes over 50% on spell damage, which
That's a
shouldn't be
lot.
happening. Hot fixes for tuning should be marginal.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be this.
Like, we shouldn't even notice that to where we are looking forward to reset because we screwed up 4 or 5
Yeah.
different classes. Meanwhile, demon hunters are just running a fucking muck all around.
and they got buffed. And they got buffed.
If
Did
you're
they
a
visit
demon
you in
hunt- No,
Battlegrounds,
they're getting
Belle?
some parts
Ah,
are getting a tiny
A
nerf.
Rogue's waiting to visit her in Battleground.
We'll talk about.
I'm wondering if
PvP.
there should be some sort of a reward system, or like if it's Remedies who is going there constantly in PTR after PTR, mark him as someone who's given valid
Yes, yes.
feedback.
well,
or like,
they do stuff like that. They haven't really done anything like that in a while, but those MVP tags on the forums are people that help the community, and I don't know if it relates to that,
in
but
forums
it's,
specifically.
I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, do it for testing their stuff. Hey, this Remedies is spending countless hours testing the DPS with this many pieces of gear.
Agreed. And
Alright.
Rem said it. There should not be giant changes right before a fucking raid tier. Marginal at best. Teeny tiny
Well-
things stepping into something.
Yeah.
They just went ham and did all these serious nerfs. Why not tweak it a little. It's because they have no middle ground. And we've always known this about Blizzard, and I'm not talking shit, I'm just being honest. Blizzard doesn't have a chill. They're either all the way in one direction or they're all the way in the other.
They either have the AC on hot or cold.
Fuck, there's no in between. There's no room temperature.
There's no 76.
And
Imagine
they break it and then they fix it. They're famous for that. They break everything and then they fix it. They're very famous for releasing broken shit and then kidding, we're gonna fix it. Yeah. I think.
Can they break the heirlooms from Siege of Orgrimmar so I can get those again, please? That'd be cool.
I think.
Imagine they knew what they were doing and they were just like laughing, like it's just hilarious to them to watch us all freak out for 2 weeks to a month.
I mean, that could be a strong possibility.
I think they have a lot of internal things going on as well, because if you guys were following the patch note situation, some of that shit was written very wrong. And CM Lore was literally like mad tweeting and apologizing left and right. I know somebody lost their job. But I think that there might be a lot of internal stuff going on, especially with the shuffle with Tom Chilton moving into something else, and they're bringing, Ian's taking over, and Ian took over a really big spot. He's the man at what he does, but he's learning a lot probably. But I think that there might be some internal things that might be going on.
That's a good point.
That we don't know about, that they might be leaning on people for data or for making changes in large amounts that they shouldn't be leaning on, because perhaps they should not be, like, how there's quality checks, you double check people's work, right?
Yeah.
Secret, your work, you would probably double check someone's work. You wouldn't just take them at their word that it's good.
They check that shit like 5 times before
I think that there's something going on internally also that's been recent.
And then the other warehouse checks it too. So
right,
yeah,
checks and balances, guys, and it happens everywhere, because that's what makes any good
trial
company.
And error has made this game what we love, right? Because they've done so much extensive changes, and
their testing just needs to be better. Their testing is lacking
seriously.
Yeah, their testing is lacking seriously, I think.
I had a fingerprint on my glasses for the longest time.
Microfiber rag.
He also wanted to know about PvP tuning, which we'll talk about that, because they did talk about that they are going to be doing, that Blizzard has publicly acknowledged PvP is a problem. They've publicly acknowledged that there's a huge damage gap between. I mean, when I'm talking huge damage gap, when I get one shot by a fucking demon hunter, we have a freaking problem. We'll save that for my segment, because we're not going to go through all that. But they have acknowledged the issues.
We do our PvP battle, huh?
Wait, you were supposed to do it at the end of last episode. You guys didn't do that?
No,
I told the
went
community
to
and the listeners. Poor choice of pizza toppings. We'll save that for later. That's a nice
call you out on Facebook.
He did. Yeah,
it was funny that he called out Canadian bacon, but I know
bacon all day.
So Remedies has got some lore. Also, one of you had requested some Gul'dan lore. I think it was Horde for Life. You, Yepix. You had requested some Gul'dan, not confusing lore. We'll be covering that in a future segment. Message received. But Remedies has got what bosses are we on for Nighthold?
Okay, so what we've got for today would be Croesus. If you don't remember Croesus, he is a giant demon that kills Tyrion, so he might be on your shit list. High Botanist Talarn is kind of a no-name. He's kind of important, but he's kind of there. He's kind of interesting because he reminds me a lot of something that happened in Warlords of Draenor. And then I'll talk a little about Tacondrius, and that I'll roll into the next segment, because Tacondrius actually has a lot of backstory and a lot of things to do with him.
Which you love because he's a Dreadlord, right?
Tacondrius is a Dreadlord?
You love him because he's a Dreadlord.
He is a Dreadlord, yes. He's not...
Dreadlord. I thought you said Druglord, and I'm like...
I mean, one and the same, maybe.
One of the jokes in World of Warcraft 3 was he rings the phone. He's like, I'm a Dreadlord, not a drug lord.
Did I not get that memo on that meeting?
I like it.
I need to see
that. Croesus is a giant demon. He's like a giant colossus, and he's the guy that's sitting in the fell-fired swamp.
Does he have no legs?
Yeah, we never see his legs. Kind of like Ragnaros. Yeah, he misses leg day. But
and Cormrock. And...
he was on the Broken Shore, and we kicked his butt. And lo and behold, obviously we don't kill him because demon, but
because we only fight their essence, right? Their apparitions. We don't fight them.
It's not only the apparition; it's their soul is tied to the Twisted Nether, and so they never truly die. They kind of like how if you ever done the Demon Hunter introductory stuff where you die and you're going back to your body, and then Illidan goes, "Oh, you have a soul just like mine." Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're able to go back to your body and revive, quote unquote. But yeah, you have Croesus, which is a giant demon, and then you have a what's his nuts, High Botanist Talarn, which he is a lot like the botany guys, the tree folk, I like to call them, in Warlords of
Everbloom?
Draenor.
One of the rares.
Yeah.
Didn't we fight a rare, right? That dropped. I wanted a pair of shoulders, and I think it was just that. There's 3 of them, right? 3 bosses
Yeah,
on a giant
the,
tree stump, right?
tree stump.
In Gorgrond?
I mean-
Question mark.
Oh, I don't know about the actual
Oh.
rare name, but like Bashiok, for instance, his
Yes.
his NPC that was put in the game is one of the botanies, but he has the same exact model, same exact like feel to him. But the problem is that he's Nightborn and he transitioned into this other being, and he's got a whole bunch of new abilities because he's got arcane, but he's also got the druidic feel to him, which is really interesting, honestly. But he'll have 4 transitions in between different fabrics of his abilities, and
What type of fabrics?
Like silk
satin.
or
Yeah.
Egyptian cotton.
you got any of
Yeah.
that wool?
Not Egyptian cotton. It's got to be nice.
Ooh.
Yes, sheets of Egyptian cotton.
That silk weave.
I forget the actual the names of it, but he goes through like arcane and fire damage and nature damage, stuff like that. And so like I said, he's kind of important within the Nightborn, but we don't know a lot about him. Only that he's high botanist and he knows a lot about arcane and nature
Interesting.
Yeah. Knows a lot about botany.
because he's
A drug lord. No.
There you go.
no, that's Tachondrius.
He's Method Man in How High.
Ooh,
Yeah, buddy.
so many
Okay,
jokes.
so Tachondrius, in terms of Nighthold, he's there as sort of a the tight grip on Gul'dan, make sure he gets his end of the deal done. And so I don't know what his current title is right now, because he used to be the leader of the Nathuzim, all the Dreadlords, and then it was his brother Anatharian, and then it was I messed up the name, Mephistroth.
Menstrual?
Yeah, Mestral, yeah. No, it's Mephistroth, and they kind of switch in between leading all the deals in between who dies and who doesn't, because they never really die unless we kill them in the Twisted Nether. And so back on kind of backtracking, not only backtracking, but Balnazar, for instance, with this whole deal with the Netherlight Temple, where you experience that with the Paladin and the Paladin and the Priest, or the whole stuff, the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
We actually kill him in the Twisted Nether.
Right.
So I'm really interested in what that kind of, if they're actually going to pick up on that and say like, oh, he's actually not able to come back and push the agenda for the Burning Legion anymore.
Oh, okay.
But Tachondrius is definitely there to kind of officer Gul'dan, make sure he gets his shit together, because as we already can see, Gul'dan's plans have fallen multiple
We're
times.
wrecking shit left and right. We're wrecking it.
Yeah,
We're like Miley Cyrus.
Oh no,
coming
you
like a wrecking
didn't.
ball.
Miley
What?
Cyrus.
Just
You're-
kidding.
What?
I'm disappointed in you.
Just cheating.
So I am really excited about what we're going to see. I'm really excited for the story, right? Because Rem, you had talked about that we don't really know. There's like a whole lot of stuff we don't really know. Like why are you in my face and why do I have to fight you? Because it's new. So I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that for sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey guys, need lore?
What up, though?
Want a topic of discussion? Email info@pwnecast.net or belle@pwnecast.net. Tweet to @remediespwnecast. Tweet to anybody and tell us what you need. Comments on the show. You want lore? We'll give you lore. Just tell us what you need and we got you.
Yeah, I mean, even remedies. I mean, we have books. We could read for 10 minutes. Chapter
Whoa,
9.
whoa, not. Wait, will
But
you
no,
guys
with
read to
School
me?
Dan thing,
Us?
it'll have to be like a whole deal because there's multiple timelines,
Oh, there's
multiple.
so much info on him. It's ridiculous.
Not even including the timelines. Like it's
Right.
extensive. Like it's crazy.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, that's on your radar, so that's good to know. Before we swap over, in regards to the changes that are happening, rolling out on Tuesday, we did post about it on PWNCAST. You could also see it on their Twitter, and you can see it on the new site. Make sure you go check out. There's a lot of class changes that they're fixing, so make sure you guys go check that out. And now, what news from the pet battle portion of the world in Azeroth? Gemma?
Let's get ready to pet battle. Actually, some news. I think last couple weeks have been no news, and then I've just given a list of pets, right? We have some news, or I don't know if you even consider it news. We got some new stuff happening. Patch came out, and some of the things excited me. Some of them were like, meh. But this shoulder enchant was one of the things I was like, meh, because it just gives you pet charms, is what I thought. But it turns out it gives you more than pet charms. So you get this shoulder enchant from Brianne's Pet Shop, the updated one, of course, in the Broken Isles. And it's only 50 gold from what I didn't go buy it yet. From what I've read on the internets, it's 50 gold and you enchant your shoulders. And of course, yes, it drops pet charms, but it'll also give you, bandages. But more importantly, what I would want from this is those battle training stones that turn your pets into rare. Now,
Right.
some of you are master pet
25.
collectors. Pardon? No.
I'd rather one that goes at 25.
Oh, yeah, of course. A lot of them would. But that's for the pet battle bonus event remedies. So enjoy your PvP pet battles next event. But the stones are great because some of us don't have, all of our pets at rare level, or some of us like to just sell pets. So if you got some of those rare stones to drop, you put them on some of the pets that you would sell that aren't rare. Like they just don't come in rare, they'll come in common. And you pop that stone, make it rare. The pet value could go up 1,000 or 2 or a few thousand gold, right? So, more is good. So I underestimated the pet shoulder enchantment. It's good, thumbs up. And then we have the 4 pets. Now I mentioned the 4 pets a couple months ago when they first were kind of announced, and I didn't really know what they looked like and didn't really know much about them. But we do know the 2 are from the Mist of Pandaria time walking event. I'm glad I still have a lot of the badges because I think they're
I do too.
Yeah, 2,200 a piece, and they're really cool. You've got the they look really good actually. The one is one of those spirits, right? You've seen them. They really are reskinning, but I like the reskins and I like how they look, right? The Paradox Spirit looks just like the Pandaren Earth Spirit or the Water Spirit, but
Right, yeah.
I really like those pets. I
And
always
those used to
have.
sell for a ton.
Yeah, and they still do. I've recommended
Do they
a
really?
lot. Yeah, well, I mean, you get a few thousand gold for them, right? So,
I'm talking about when they sold for like 40K.
whoa, I don't. That's crazy.
That was my
yeah.
server. Sorry.
Well, and when new pets come out, some people don't know where to get them, or they're just not as many floating around. They do sell for a lot, right? So a lot of buying and selling. So the Infinite Hatchling is also another reskinned, like dragonkin looking pet, but it also looks cooler, in my opinion, than the other ones. So that's always a plus when they reskin and get it better. And then you've got Tylar Grondin, and that's from the Brawlers Guild. I think you need
I did
around.
pick that up.
You got it before
buddy.
me?
Oh,
How do you
Rogue
like
One.
it?
Rogue. I don't know. I just bought it.
You just bought it? You don't
Put it in my
battle
bench.
with it?
No.
Did you at least summon it to follow you around?
Nah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Come on, bro. I haven't
Yeah,
Pokemon.
it's really cool though, right? It
That's
is
like-
a cool looking pet. Well, put it on a
Yes,
toolbar and follow it around. A lot of us are playing WoW and we don't have these companion pets that we've got hundreds of. Put a couple of your favorite ones on your toolbars and summon them every once in a while. They get bored. They need exercise. So
The
do
only
that,
one
please.
I actually do summon is my mini Thor because
Nice.
I bought that one. So
Right, which I still think you can get. We talked about that a few months ago. The old school StarCraft collector's editions. I was able to get a deal and buy them all still, and that was like they've been out for years, right? So that's a classic one that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So Tylar Grondin, one that Secret Sauce already has, rank 3 roughly, and then Clockham's not a new pet, but it was missing for a while, and it used to require rank 4. It now only requires rank 3. It used to only be 30 silver, excuse me. Now it's 500 gold. So it's not as cheap, but really 500 gold is not that much. And then, yeah, really, right? Or just ask Jimmo Banks for 500 gold. They'll say, no, get a job, and then you'll have to go earn it somewhere else. So the fourth pet was Trashy. It's just a raccoon, another skin. A lot of reskinned pets. I guess Tyler Grondin is the more unique one out of the four. Right. Very cool guy, the way he looks. So new shoulder enchant, new pets. Now, I love gold. I mentioned, I've been lazier with the buying and selling of pets, but there's a lot of pets that I've been looking on the auction house for, and they're just not there, and they're not hard to get. Some of them I have not mentioned before. Some I'm going to mention again. I'm not going to give you a long, boring list, but like the Eye of Observation, you just need a couple friends. Some of you listen. Your other guild members are listening. You just got to go summon and go to the area to get the Eye of Observation. There's none on the auction house. Like, I used to sell them for 12k gold when there was some on the auction house. So with none on the auction house, you control the market. So it doesn't mean you're going to get 30k gold for the pet.
But if you're doing, yeah.
Right, but you could just want to get rid of it quick and sell it for 12k or 9,999 gold. The reason why it's so good, and you do it in a group, it doesn't just drop one for you all to fight over. It gives you individual loot, and some of you, 2 could drop or 3 could drop, the Eye of Observation. So very good. 2 that are still selling for quite a bit. The Creeping Tentacle, which is from the rating of Leash's 4 achievement, right? The most latest achievement. Still sells for about 7 to 12k. But this Drudge Ghoul, and it's the only one I'm missing. It drops off Lich King.
I've got it.
I got it.
You want it? Have it. I was just going to say, let me learn it, and then I will have my achievement completed. But great example. If you two both have it, you should sell it. Now, Belle does laugh at me because I'm so quick to sell some of my prized possessions.
He sells his microwave. He sells his shoes. One day he was trying to sell his socks, guys.
I sold enchanting mats, and I never heard the end of it. Like, I was selling my life savings, and I never get it back.
Then he bought them back later, guys.
I did, but at that time it was for the same price. But usually it doesn't work that way, so at least I didn't lose gold. But this pet right now on our server, guys, is selling the cheapest one for, I saw, 35,000 gold. So you guys aren't huge pet collectors, but because did you just run old raids for the pets or gold? A lot of people just do it for gold.
I went to go for Transmog on a tune, and I got it.
Yeah, I went to go to
see. But the thing is, I tried to sell it for I think it was 15 to 20k. No one bought it, so I was like, okay, I'll hold on to it.
I'll give you 15k after the show, bro. But
okay.
You're right. So, that's the other thing. The flip side to it is, when you get these pets,
loses his gold.
Right? Just because there's none on the auction.
What type of pet is that from Lich King?
It's like looks like one of the DK little ghouls that you would summon when you would summon
undead. Then is that what you're telling me?
Oh, I have one of those.
Do you?
I think so.
Yeah, it's newer, but again, a lot of people they're not even pet farming. They're just going for gold, or they're farming invincible, right? Mm-hmm. Just sell them.
You can't even see the amount, though.
Pardon? Right.
He said something smart ass. I don't know what it was.
I know, I didn't catch it. I'm sure I'll catch it on the rewatch. So yeah, I mean, just sell those pets. Same with like the rating with Leash's 2 achievement, which is old, right? But there's this Coil Fang Stalker. Again, none on my auction house. It drops from, I checked with the team to make sure I said it, where Lady Vash from Serpent Shrine Cavern. Now, I think one of the reasons why there's not many, I think you still have to, can you beat that boss solo now, or do you need 2 people to do it?
No, you can beat it solo. The SH is silent, by the way.
Nice.
I was hoping he was going to say it.
Right? I almost did. Remedies is clever. So you used to be able to, from what I understand, you needed 2 people.
Wait, is it silent?
Yeah, it is. So what would that be, Belle? Lady... I'm not saying it.
Lady Vaj?
It will sell. It'll sell for a lot of gold. That was always the more expensive one out of that one. So just a couple pets for you to go farm if you're looking for gold, or again, a lot of you are listening farm for Invincible on multiple tunes. So hook Jimma Banks up with Drudge Gruel, I'll give it back, and then you can sell it. And Remedies, if you try to sell it and it doesn't sell, just repop it on there, because every time that I've looked, I've seen just 2 for 30k plus. Now, a lot of people also, when they're scanning the auction houses, they'll look at yours and see it for 15, 20k, and they might wait. Like, they want to buy it, including myself, but they'll wait because they just hope over time more will become available. And sometimes people just say, you know what, forget it, and they make the
Right.
purchase. So
Yep.
don't be like that. Pop it back on there, and good luck with your drops, and good luck on trying to get the new pets. And what I'm going to do, I was talking to one of our friends in the guild, Eeg, huge pet collector. He's crushing me in pets right now.
He is. He's a
And
beast, man.
Yeah, he made it click for whatever. We were just chatting, and with pets and collecting, I've never been one to like rush and finish my list. And I've given away so many level 25, so that means I have to level that same pet up again, because it makes me feel good to help people out. But I just, after our conversation, it clicked, because there's another game I play where I just really am hardcore collecting, right? So I'm like, why wasn't it that way? And wow. So once we had that conversation, it clicked, and I just have new content ideas where I'm going to take everyone through my collecting and make videos for it, me adding all the ones missing, some easy, some hard to get. So I think that will leak over to the segments as well for what I'm doing collecting wise, and I'll let you know what's up next week. So
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Nice. Betty, nice. So.
Okay, so I did have that, and I did sell it. So,
Nice. For how much? You roughly remember?
Probably like 10K back when I got it.
That's a score, right? I wish I would have bought
Well,
it.
yeah. So when I came back to WoW after like being on a small hiatus, sorry to cut you off, Belle. I had 0 gold. Like I had like maybe 500 gold, and I'm like, well, fuck. I have all these pets that you used to have to go really farm and hope to God that they dropped. And I had like the hyacinth, macaw. I had like all these really hard ones to get, and I'm like, well, auction house it is. Boom. And I think at that time, I had probably a good 200K, and this is like
from selling the pets.
selling pets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they can sell for a lot.
Well, especially if you have tunes across different servers.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, yeah, and it gives you a chance to scan the auction houses on different servers, and you get a variety, and that's how I made my riches before I ever,
Got your britches.
Well, before I was a max level on Argent Dawn, and I was just getting to know Belle and the team, and I was doing a little bit of articles, I was like, okay, I see myself playing here one day, and I kept selling pets as a level 1. I was bringing pets from other servers, and before you knew it, I had 700,000 gold. So, yeah, there's a lot of value in pets.
Oh yeah, no, there sure were.
Agreed.
Right?
There's value in anything where you
Everything.
can make your money. Your toaster, your socks, your ruse even. Just kidding. I wish you guys would have been there that day. Jimmo was literally, we were on Zoom, and he was just selling everything with the goddamn kitchen sink. And he's like, well, I don't need it now. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to need it later. Stop selling everything you own.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also that craze at the start of an expansion with enchanting mats.
It's a good time to cash in if you're not using it. You're
absolutely.
right. Okay. So, been PvPing all week, as promised.
Not enough.
Sounds like a lot, though,
No,
actually.
I've been PvPing a lot.
Oh, that was a
lot.
shot at you because you didn't duel. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
I can't hold your hand on Sundays, but above all that, so I did focus my resources on countering rogues. Here's what I've learned. Rogues are going to be very similar to all the other melee, including demon hunters. Just a few twists and kicks, right? Just is what it is. So
And
what I
dasher.
did find out is I can kill a rogue very easily. I can literally decimate a rogue. The problem is getting him to hold still. Just sit here and take it, fucker. So, a no-brainer kiting. No-brainer. Especially if you're a caster, you have to kite. You have to get away, especially if they're bursting. If they're opening and you know you're dead, you have to get away, right? So, what I
Fucking
started
stun
doing...
you as you go through a fucking portal.
Is immediately, whenever we would be in any kind of engagement, the rogues would always swap to me. They would be right in my face, and I would literally get pissed off. So then I'm like, okay, now's the time for me to learn. Fear. After the fear, pumping as many chaos bolts as I could get out of everything I had, right? The trick, especially when you're a caster, is bursting them down as quickly as possible. Or getting their health so low that they freak out and they end up swapping, especially if you're in Battlegrounds, they swap off of you and go to somebody else because they're like, oh shit, this person almost killed me. So I make sure that I CC, get my fear out right away. Most of the time, they're not really using trinkets at Battlegrounds, they're using Relentless. So your fear's not going to be as effective. Your stun's not going to be as effective because if they're using the Relentless trinket, it's 20% reduced
Oh well.
CC time. So I feared, pumped Chaos Bolts, back-to-back feared after the 2 Chaos Bolts. Then you're going to hit into a DR, right? You know, by your second fear, you're already going to be on DR, so you'll maybe get a half, if you're lucky, maybe a quarter. Once I did that, I swapped to my Mortal Coil, which is a 3-second stun. That gave me just enough opportunity for me to be able to get away. Now, I don't use my portal, but if you're a class that has a portal, that's another good way of just stopping their burst, which is really what's important. It's not so much being able to survive your entire encounter, it's being able to just put a stop on their burst. That's really where your priority needs to be. So don't think you have to go into this as, you know, a lock or a clothy or something that's a struggle when it comes to fighting a rogue. All you have to do is stop their burst. That's it. You just have to stop their burst, and then that gives you enough time to be able to generate what you need to be able to take him out. I was killing rogues, and I was killing them pretty much left and right. Still getting killed by rogues. I'm not the rogue expert, guys. But I did find that my level of frustration for rogues is a lot lower now that I had learned to
That's
counter
Good.
them.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, so CC, obviously, these are obvious things, but sometimes in an encounter, they're not really obvious because I'm back-to-back stunned. I'm back-to-back all these things because rogues are dicks, guys. That's their nature. The rogues are dicks. I did download an add-on that says Say Sapped, and that was actually pretty cool. The add-on outputs that I'm sapped, especially if I'm sitting a base, so that people know.
old.
It automatically, the second the rogue saps me, it outputs to the instance chat and tells the instance chat, hey, the broad holding down stables is sapped.
I don't see that as much anymore, but you used to
Right.
see that all the time.
Downloaded
And then
it
you have those two
yesterday.
people in the battleground. They're like, "Who cares?"
Yeah, it's nice because sometimes you get yelled at when you don't call incoming because it's not
Right.
that you're not trying to call it, you're just busy trying to stay alive and not
Yeah.
lose it. So I did download the add-on that tells the rest of
Staying alive.
the world that I'm sapped. So if you could please come save me for the rogue. So CC
So-
burst immediately. Your objective is to shut them down so that they cannot do any finishers. You want to shut them down mid-burst. Once you shut them down mid-burst, give them everything you have. Don't swap targets just because they left you alone. If you come at me as a rogue and you run away from me because your health is low and you're scared, I'm going to literally jump on my mount and I'm going to fucking chase you like I'm not supposed to. I'm going to fight you on a road and I am going to finish this fight. You will not run. Period.
Okay, Belle. Okay, I'm the rogue. Okay, so you're about to cast your fear. I kick it, get you in a kidney stun, do a burst, stealth. What do you do?
Hey, that's happened. I'm not going to lie, and I've died.
Okay, and then kidney shot, and then another kick, and you're dead.
I
yeah.
screamed, fuck you, punk motherfucker, and slammed my keyboard. That was the result.
Wait, time
man.
out. This really happened between the two of you?
No, not between him and I, but it did. His scenario is a valid scenario,
Yeah.
and
But
I.
Yeah, if
focusing
they get
on
the jump on you.
It was
yeah.
literally fuck you, you punk motherfucker, and I slammed on my desk because I was pissed off.
But do you find with the extra research you did, and of course you're PvP
Yes,
the whole
I still have
slowed down
more.
a little bit, or
yeah, I have more to learn. Obviously, I can't learn how to completely counter a class in 1 week. Maybe I can,
Right.
but I
No,
didn't.
of course not. Yeah.
But I
Oh,
did
help.
find it less scary, and I didn't find myself just giving up, right? Just fuck it, I'm just going to sit here on a stun. I didn't find myself freaking out about that. Also, with Relentless, because I'm 20% less in CC, it's not as scary, to be perfectly honest. Also, if you are in CC with a rogue, bubble, if you have your bubble. I have my my sacrificial pact. Well, it's dark pact now. I have my unending resolve, right? So that's a huge,
I hate when they use that.
like, huge bubble because it will absorb a lot of that damage, especially when you're in a stun and the rogue is seeking. The rogue ultimately is seeking to kill you in their back-to-back CC. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They want to kill you. You have no chance in hell of doing anything. So luckily, whilst most CC that I encountered when it come, I don't know different specs, but from most of the rogues that I did encounter, I was able to use both my bubbles, right? My bubble and my absorb. I was able to use that, which essentially kept me alive long enough to get out of that stun, CC his ass, and then proceed to dump my chaos bolts into him, which was really super effective. Kiting him
Oh.
around too, it's difficult as a caster, especially when you have to sit still for 90% of your spells, is to learn how to not just be a turret. You have to learn how to be able to get the fuck up and go. I struggle with that because I tunnel, right? I tunnel sometimes and I forget, hey, you have to move. You can't stand here because you have the whole team standing
Yeah.
on top of you and you're trying to encounter this rogue. So that's essentially, you could be any kind of ranged or caster or clothy and go up against a rogue. You melee guys, you have it pretty, I mean, it's not that difficult for you to fight a rogue. It's not that, you guys are all pretty much, you got the same size, woohoo, for the most part. So it's not that complicated. But for those of you casters and ranged and all that, it can be done. I have done it this week. And I will continue to follow that progress. Now, this next week, I'm going to be working on Demon Hunters. Because I'm
I was going to ask.
Oh my god.
How many times did Rem hear this week, fuck Demon Hunters, literally at the top of my lungs, pissed off, waking up my children. My daughter comes out of her room and she's like, Mom, did you call me? No,
What's
I didn't
a Demon
call you.
Hunter?
Oh my gosh.
I want you guys to know that I'm not complaining. Because I'm not the only one that feels this way. I had very high-end PvPers tweet, Sea-Doo, hello, can we get a fucking burst damage nerf, please? Can we get a nerf damage burst? He's tweeted this last week, and I was like, great, so I'm not the only one. Can we nerf damage?
No, Demon Hunters hit
I
hard.
will be working on Demon Hunters because this is another sore spot for me. You should also know that DKs, although I'll be covering them, we don't really have a problem with DKs. And I don't mean this to insult any of you DKs, but I do not have a problem countering DKs, and I'm going to tell you why. In Mists of Pandaria, DKs were my arch nemesis. They were my rogue at this point. It was very difficult for me to stay alive against a DK. I struggled, and whenever I would go against a DK in arena, I would literally just give up on life. Like, I would literally be like, okay, game's over. Like, it's just going to be over. I learned how to counter them so well that even with any new change that they make, I just know how to, like, DKs just are not a problem for me. I can fear 2 Chaos Bolt, fear, and Chaos Bolt, and a DK is dead easily. In between dealing with the anti-magic shell, but that's easy because you just wait it out. But
really? Because you hit that all the time.
What?
What?
I don't get killed by DKs.
No, I'm talking about the AMS. You're like, oh, he had AMS up, fuck.
Well, okay, because they are smart. When my Chaos Bolt is already en route, then I see the don't cast that add-on tell me, hey, AMS, and I'm like, seriously?
It's already gone.
Yeah, and then it just looks real sad as it's flying. It's like, hey, flying through the air.
Demon Hunter is such a good one for you to cover too, not just because they're so difficult, but it's the newest class too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when Windwalkers were out and people didn't even know about Touch of Karma and they're just killing themselves. Like,
oh, that was hilarious.
Rogues are not immune. They hurt. They take, especially with some of the high power casters like Mage. If Mage knows what they're doing, they can one shot.
Oh yeah, if you can get a hold of one and start doing your magic on them, it hurts them for sure.
You just have to. You have to control. You have to control their movement. That's really the key when you're dealing with a rogue. Is you have to control their movement because they will be all over you in every direction where you don't even know which way is up. If you can control their movement and force their movement and be able to shut down their burst, they're dead. So
I don't know if it's the same way, but Rogue used to be able to decimate all over warriors.
I'm sure. I mean, rogues are. I see a lot of rogues just
pooping.
Being roguey.
You mean like being better than one of the other one
right.
with your big ones?
No, like they could shut down a warrior like it was nothing.
Yeah, I think it's flip flopped over the expansions, right, or seasons. I remember.
They are going to be actively. I'm not going to call balance. I'm not going to say balancing. They use the word tuning and balancing when they did openly admit, hey, some shit's fucked up with PvP. I'm not going to call it balancing because we know there's never going to be a balance because that's just not the PvP life is not balanced. It just is what it is, guys. However, they are going to be actively tuning and fixing some things. There is a problem, right? Whether people want to say there is or there isn't, there is issues. They're not.
No, yeah, of course.
Nothing you can't come back from, guys. I have resurrected myself from beyond the grave and have done relatively well. So, baby steps, you know.
Well, practice makes permanent, right?
Yeah.
You put a lot of work in.
They are going to be
looking
looking into it. So go to the forums, guys. If you're a PvPer, give positive feedback. Help give something back to the community and shape the way that we want this to be so that it can be nice. But it was nice to see Sea-Doo tweet that he would like a burst damage nerf to certain classes, Demon Hunters, because it is nice. I literally was getting 2-shot by Demon Hunters still, even. It's just
not good.
But they're fun. They're fun to fight. I do enjoy. And then same thing with the Demon Hunter. If you kill me, that whole battleground, I'm going to find you. I'm going to look for specifically for you, and I'm going to take my revenge, and I'm bringing friends.
She really does.
I'm bringing friends, fucker. We're rolling 3 deep, 4 deep. Like, I am coming for you. So,
Oh my.
in the second half of my segment, so next week we'll talk about Demon Hunters. The second half of my segment is Jedi. I'm not going to use any kind of real names. Jedi did send a very, very long email about an issue that he was having. Now, I'm going to call his friend Freddie, right? Because I'm not using real names. His friend
Sure.
Freddie, they have a group of people where they do mythics. His friend Freddie, who's the healer, I think he was the healer. The friend Freddie, they had problems trying to make sure they were all on the same time so they could make the most out of their group gameplay, right? And the friend Freddie didn't appreciate that they were trying to coordinate. They would send a midweek text message that says, hey, we're all going to be on at this time, a group chat. Let's do things in game. Can you heal? Blah, blah, blah. He didn't appreciate that because he felt like he was being like pushed into
What?
video gaming, which... You know,
Who
Jedi,
does
I'm going to
that?
be really honest with you. If he complained because you wanted a text message to play video games with him, how does this guy have friends in real life? You said I could speak openly on it on the show, and if Freddie, if you're listening, even though that's not your real name, I'm going to need you to be not a jerk, okay?
Who plays video games? What?
Right. Vidya games. So,
Crazy.
the problem is when you have that one person that's slowing your group down, it's very difficult to find somebody that plays at the same time as you, likes to play the same things as you, is comfortable filling a role that you need. Your role is a healer. That's what you need, a healer to fill
Right.
your guys' group of people. Makes perfect sense. We all do it at any given time. Rem will go a tank to fill a role when we're all doing something in the group. Same with Jimmy. He'll come on and heal. Sauce is so versatile that he could pretty much plug several holes.
No, that last expansion, yes. This expansion sucks.
Well, because it's
for that.
difficult. It's not alt friendly, right? They're making it that way, but it's not.
It's
really
becoming
trying to.
that way over time.
Let's get in there. Yeah.
So your
I could do
concern
all
is
those.
how to find these
Yeah.
people, right? How do you find just one person that's keen to get a text message or be in a Facebook group chat to want to have to, get with you and be your guys' little group mate? I'm going to tell you where I find people. Now, pretend I'm not a guild master and could at my whim go into my guild chat and literally say I need these roles and people say I'm on it. Let's pretend that I don't. Before Riders was the ginormous thing that it is now, where we had a plethora of people with those roles, we would find our healers and tanks in dungeons. We would find them in pugs, rando dungeons. We would find them in pugs. We would get on comm, right? And we would either jive with them and we would like their personality and we would be like, hey, can I have your battle tag? And they would be like, yeah, anytime you need a healer. Some of the main roles in my guild in raid and on a daily basis are pugs that we just jived with doing, things.
We adopt a lot of people.
The trick is to be on comms when you're putting together, just randomly put together pug groups looking for those roles, force them on a comm, get to know them to see if it's something you jive with on a mechanic level, something you jive with on you guys having the same views of what you're doing, whether it's mythic pluses or rating or whatever, what
Right.
their personality's like. You want to make sure they don't eat,
Doo-doo.
poop or cats or some weird shit, So
No tough salad here.
the majority of the places I get people are from pugs. Random shit in pre-made group. Being on comms with them and being like, you're funny as shit. Be my friend. Like, could you heal me? I have several people on my battle tag that are just, and it says, pug from whatever, willing to be a healer for
Same.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's the best place. You don't have to call out and trade. Recruitment is garbage. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. If you recruiting on avenues of stuff like that, it's so much work for a little turnaround. You get 30 people that say that they're interested in applying and doing all those things. 5 of them actually do what they're supposed to do to complete that process. So those of you that are recruiting, handle your scandal, dude. Keep doing your thing. I find it more personable to be in the thick of it when I'm trying to find people to fill roles. And when all else fails, bring all your friends to Riders, dude. Come roll some tiny guys and you'll have a whole group of people at your disposal when you guys need a filler, if that didn't fail. But
It's 100% true, too.
he messaged me earlier and told me that he did find somebody that they seem to be cool, but pug it and find just the role you're looking for. Pug it during the times you're looking for that availability. If you know most of the time you're on between this time and this time of these days, put a pug together with the current group you have. Bring in that role that you need for during that time, because if they've pugged it for that time slot, odds are that that's probably a pretty common time slot that they play. So that will kind of help eliminate the availability. And and then, just get to know them in your run. See if they're, if they're cool. Do they talk? Like, just work it out in a pug thing without feeling like you're a sleazy salesman trying to get someone into your group. Friendships have to mesh. So, I don't know. Are you guys laughing because there's a secret going on?
I'm laughing at you.
Why?
Secrets always got it going on.
Well, I'm laughing too at what's on this screen over here too. So,
What is that?
stuff.
Are you doing non-show things on the show? We're
I
trying to
feel like
learn
he
about
is.
making friends.
So,
No, I'm really not.
So Jedi, I would not be friends with Freddy. I would take him off your battle tag, and if Freddy tried to message me, I would tell Freddy, fuck off. That's what I would tell
Whoa! Maybe there's two sides to
Fuck off,
every
Freddy.
story. Maybe the Jedi was playing. Maybe Jedi was playing mind tricks and just being too aggressive, sending Freddy messages.
Whoa, wait. Jimmy Banks, there's 3 sides. There's his, the others, and the truth.
This is true.
Truth.
If all else fails and you do find yourself struggling, bring, you and your guys, come hang out. Come do the cha-cha. Let us entertain you with awkward jokes and talking of tacos. I mean, we're all nuts in the guild, but we got a good thing
A
going
little
on.
bit.
Want to taco about it?
I always recommend
Oh.
leveling a level or rolling a level 1. Like, don't go
Yeah.
ham. Let's not get married yet, right? We want to court for a little bit to make sure that the marriage is going to be a cohesive and happy one. You don't want to find out that we're crazy a day after you put a ring on it. So you
We are
definitely
crazy. though.
I'm the only normal one in the guild.
you definitely
Why?
want to
Um,
try out.
I did the same thing. Did that level 1, and then I'll have 9 or 10. So I mean,
And then it's the whole kitchen sink where you're just giving us the house, the car, the whole
Yep.
9.
Want it
But
all.
that was my Belle's Bite. So next week we are going to talk about countering demon hunters. If you guys need any more information in any specific situations you want to know about my rogue encounters, feel free to comment on the show and let me know. Send me an email, send me a Twitter, comment on the show.
Just PvP though,
Yeah.
because there's this girl I like at work. I want some advice.
I got you, boo boo. You just
Help.
send me a text message. We'll work it out. I'm gonna help you.
we can help you with Hagatha.
Hagatha. Okay. Week in WoW. Jimma, what'd you do this week?
I did the Throne of Thunder. I did some achievements with the guild, which was cool, and I started creeping on the members of the show's achievements because I feel sad. Like I look in the guild and I look at my monk, and it's like 3,000 achievements, and I have so many more on my hunter. So I started creeping the rest of the show mates, I mean, I didn't do much more than that other than a couple world quests and just like the missions of your class order hall. So that does sound very boring, but I had a lot of fun with the guild group, and I hope to do it again next week or next time they run to, fill in some more achievements to get some mounts and clear some content and get transmog.
Get some pets.
And well, I have all of the pets from those raids, Secret Sauce, so don't insult me. But that's a good segue to the ones that I don't have because I've been a slacker from collecting. If it was in the auction house and it was a price, like I would always buy it. I always found a way to get it at the right price. Gold. I used to flip them for 10,000 gold thinking I was the man, and over time they're now worth 50,000, 20,000 gold, right? So but I did mention how I've been slacking on collecting a lot of the easier ones that I'm missing. I've got a lot of new Legion ones, but I'm missing a lot of new Legion ones, and I'll keep you posted for next week in WoW. So I'll be a lot more exciting next week, I promise.
Those left sharks gonna be pricey one day.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the F up I did with the left sharks? Before there was the land sharks, right? And I used to, that was one of my hustles. I'd buy them for 10K gold. That was one of the pets. I'd buy them on BlackRock. I'd come to Argidon, sell them. So I'd buy them from 4 to 10,000 gold, and I'd sell them from 15 to 25,000 gold on Argidon. And then all of a sudden there was a left shark. I didn't know about it. I wasn't on a podcast where Belle would remind me that I was not knowing about the new pets or whatever. So I'm like, oh, land sharks are on sale. 8,000 gold, 8,000 gold, 8,000 gold, 8,000 gold. I bought like 5 of them, and then I'm like, this says left shark. And I'm like, I did manage to sell a couple for what I bought them, but I did lose about 20 to 30K gold because I didn't sell that many after that. So do your research before you buy.
Yeah, no kidding. That's rough. I'm sorry.
You break, you buy.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking A. I can picture your face going, wait, why does that say left, not
I was
left?
just like, I'm like, what's a left shark? It was just the new patch had come out, and I'm like, and I hadn't had the quest, so I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's not that bad. And then we all know how bad that was.
Very
Still
bad.
have several in the bank. Secret, what did you do this week in World of Warcraft?
Riders did get ahead of the curve. You know, heroic hell yeah last night, which is fantastic. It was fun. It was a bigger group than I'm used to running with lately, but
Fun. Really?
yeah.
It was fun? Because I was on Zoom with Remedies, and I was like, I'm just going to run around like a fucking retard because I don't know what's going on. Aja gives the whole strategy. I whisper her, and I'm like, hey, can you just give us a whole overview because I don't know anything. Halfway through her talking, I look at Rem, and I'm like, I didn't hear a fucking word she just said.
Well, that's normal. That's
I
what
didn't
you
hear
used to do to
anything.
me. So
There's
it's
so
not a
much
big
going
deal.
on in that fight. There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've done heroic hell yeah before, different strategy, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still have fun. It's still raiding. It's something that I enjoy doing. I put together a group to do some Mog farming. I got a few pieces. I would prefer to have gotten all of it, but I didn't have like Master Looter on. I wasn't trying to be a douchebag about it. You know, if you got something cool, if you wanted to give it to me, that'd be even better. But it's fine. I'll do it again this week coming up. Schedule is different, so I'm back to normal.
Do what makes you happy. Don't do what I want, but really do what I want. Not what makes you.
I mean,
that's
you
a
know,
trick bag and a setup.
You know, you're helping me out, so you know you're really supposed to help me out and give me the
That's
loots
funny.
that I want. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still had a good time in WoW. I've been leveling the Paladin, so I'm looking forward to just Nighthold.
Paladin, right?
Yeah, Saucedin. Yeah, I actually got a few tells
Saucy.
from new people in the guild that are like, "Hey, that's a really cool name," and I'm like, "Well, most of my names have sauce, except my hunter and my shaman and my monk and whatever."
Wait a second.
Yeah,
DPS
so
Bangin's still my favorite of all your names. DPS Bangin was
You used to
always my
love pop
favorite.
bottles though.
I did.
Pop
I did
bottles
like
was
pop
business.
bottles.
Yeah, but
You
it's
can't
fine.
play a paladin. Remedies is the paladin.
I can play whatever I want.
Well, they're
Oh!
swapping identities right now. I mean, they're the same but different.
What's the
of.
deal? First we had too many hats on the show. Now we have too many glasses. Look at this.
We
And we have too many hoodies today too. If you want to.
technically, I,
I
should
mean-
be wearing glasses, but I had LASIK, so no glasses.
I
for
mean,
long.
I'm an adventurer though, so get on my
Right?
level.
And I'm from Rick and Morty today, so
I wondered what that was.
I really should get LASIK, by the way. Off topic, but yeah.
I like glasses.
It was the best decision I ever made.
Even I look weird without glasses though. I can't even see
Whoa!
my face.
It literally was the best decision I ever made. Being able to see your pieces
I
and
know,
parts in the shower
horrifying.
is priceless, guys. Priceless, okay?
Think you're what?
You can't see your pieces and parts. If you wear
Oh,
glasses,
pieces
you're
and
not
parts.
seeing anything. I didn't even know what certain things look like, guys, until, Anyway.
What is that?
Yeah, I have so many avenues to take that, but I did do some Mythic Pluses early this morning, like 2:30 in the morning this morning with
Ooh.
a group from the guild name is Illuminati. I forgot exactly what realm they're from. Really nice group of people. All they needed was a healer. We knocked out about 5 Mythic Pluses in a few hours. So they all friend requested me like, hey, whenever we need a healer, can we message you? I'm like, I'm totally
Illuminati
okay with that.
confirmed.
Illuminati is legit. So it was fun. It was a good morning. So, and then 7-hour nap, by the way.
It's not a nap. We
No.
talked about
I
this.
was, AKA I
It's
went to
sleep. You slept. You didn't
AKA
nap.
sleep.
A
Belle's
nap is like
jealous of your
45
nap,
minutes, maybe
right?
2 hours. Can I?
And Remedies, how was your week in WoW?
Before you tell us, who shared that picture of the seagull? Did Belle share the picture of like after the raid has been explained, you're like, what? Or did Donovan tag you in that post?
Who?
Who?
Was that
Who's the second person?
I don't know. Who's Donovan?
Remedies? Remedies, how was your week in WoW?
But no, the seal thing that was before
Oh,
the raid.
seal.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
from the Finding Dory when the seal's like,
He's
Yeah.
trying to get on their rock, and the 2 other seals won't ever let him on the rock, and they're mean to
Yeah.
him. And they
I'm like,
pretend
"Oh, yeah,
to be
come here,
nice.
come here,
They
come
let
here."
they let him climb all the way up there, and they're like, "You having a good day? How are you doing?" And then they just like start barking at him. It's really mean.
Just the face made me laugh because
Well,
I've
that
been
really-
there.
I
no,
literally-
I saw that, and that's Belle.
I
That's
looked
Belle.
right at him and was like,
That's
"Hey,
her.
I didn't
As
hear a
soon as she
fucking
logged in.
word she just said. Like, I did not hear anything she just said." And he goes, "Of course you didn't. I really didn't." But after I mean, I got it eventually, but right after she said splitting you into 2 groups, I didn't
You're like,
That's when she noticed. Oh shit! I have to go somewhere.
yeah, it just, and then I put Astos on focus because
he's like, don't do that. I blink everywhere.
because I knew I was in the same group as him, so wherever he was at, that's where I was supposed to be. Ren, what did you do this week in World of Warcraft?
A lot of mythics. A lot of mythics. I finally got the corrupted essences done, and so
Congrats.
then it gets you have to do 3 mythics and then like a rare spawn quest and then a mythic and then 3 rare spawns and then another mythic and then another mythic and then you wait for Nighthold. So I
That's
did
for
all
balance
those.
of power, yeah.
God.
Yeah,
So
I
you
did
got
that
it
all
all
in-
done?
I got that all done
for
in a
you.
day. Yeah.
Whoa.
That
So
sounds like something I don't want to do.
I had the time, so I was like, I'm doing
I have the
it.
time too, but fuck.
But I was super happy about that because I was waiting forever to get those essences. But the mythic were good. I started to do mythics on my paladin a lot more. The raid heroic Helia down. I good DPS till Tuesday.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
it was a lot of mythics after work.
So mythics.
Mythics.
Message received.
Lots of mythics. I'm gonna start doing Maw Souls, by the way, guys. If you want to guys have keystones for Maw
Yeah,
Souls.
that's kind of weird how like you can just grind out mythic pluses and it just gives you all the artifact.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You guys find that's a big deal? It's a problem? I mean, I think
I mean, it's available. It's not.
There's always a way
there's
of
no,
doing
there's no
that,
lock
so.
to it. So
Yeah.
you know, you could run 50
well, yeah,
Maw
that's what
Souls
I'm
2s
saying. Like
all
that's
day.
just seems so repetitive. I mean, it's
I'd
good.
rather
It
do
is.
that than have it gated to where it's like, oh, you hit this amount of AP this week, no more.
Right. Yeah.
Well, in the Mythic Pluses, although it is repetitive, some of the, when you're dealing with different keystones and their affixes
They're buffs. Yeah.
and modifiers.
Yeah, I said it wrong. Like I said mythic pluses, but I think people are just running like literally just normal mythic over and over again.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
boring. That's boring.
Just seems
But
You
the
can't run that over
affixes
and over.
and the
Yeah.
way that each boss fight and mobs, the way that you deal with mobs and trash I mean, has the potential to make or break whether or not you're successful, especially if you don't handle that specific mechanic correctly. Like,
yeah.
can't AoE because if you get every single thing you're fighting down to 30%, it explodes or does some weird shit. So, yeah. They did a good thing with the Mythic Pluses for sure. That was
Yeah.
forward thinking there, out the box.
Yep.
Who do we, all you guys
And
did
you.
your week?
That just leaves you.
True.
I PvP'd, and I've been moving, as you see. This time next week, the show will be done from the new house, and we're moving Friday, so I did PvP packing, rando shit packing, PvP guild stuff, all that stuff.
Right.
But I spent the bulk of it making sure that I had researched appropriately for rogues, and even when we're getting decimated as Alliance, I'm just one after another,
Still out
one
there.
after another, just happy.
She's
go
not
lucky.
killing anything. She's like, yellow, die.
I do have a little bit of an issue, though. I don't appreciate when I'm running. I'm running. We're having a bad time in Isle of Conquest, and I'm running. I get booted out. It boots me out as if I'm AFK, but I'm
Right.
heading from one point to one point. Boots me out. I get a 15-minute debuff, and they fucking win the battleground, and I lost it.
Does
It was
that
really
happen
pissed off.
often?
Whoa!
It happens all the time, and I don't understand why.
We won, but it was more painful than the reward was worth it because
Probably
oh
true.
my god, it sucked.
Basically, what happened is Horde was smart. They turtled at the gate when we broke through the gate and refused to let us through to kill the boss. That's smart thinking.
What they did is they trolled us the whole time.
Smart thinking from a strategy standpoint, not too bright because then you're not over there breaking our gate down. Our gate was at like
Right.
98%. So essentially, they just made it the worst Eye of Conquest run ever. So, but yeah, I got booted out of there. But my week was just mostly PvP and just getting myself back into the swing of things. I'm testing out some different honor talents and seeing some different directions that I can go in depending on the outcome that I'm looking for in certain things in
Right.
PvP. So I'm
Next step
enjoying
is a
enjoying that. I would like Demon Hunters to fuck off, but
Or just get slightly nerfed,
or
right?
just stop being just
Douchebaggles?
go the fuck to sleep. Take a nap. If you see Belle is in a battleground, go to bed, guys. Leave me alone. Just kidding. That's
I would laugh if it was like an all RBG team of just demon hunters.
It's possible with how they.
Ooh, somebody out there would
possible.
be. I would just give up on life.
Well,
Now,
it's like
last
there's
expansion. Go ahead.
there's an all druid raid team on Storm Rage.
Yeah.
So it's
The last
totally possible Demon
expansion, I
Hunters-
did run into RBG teams that had 3 warlocks on them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
multiple.
3 affliction. Yeah.
Yeah, I even saw where they were like throwing in like they had affliction, but they also had,
The
some
random
chaos.
destro that refuses to change, so they were just like,
No,
fuck it, let's bring her.
actually, a good deal was having a Destro and an affliction
Yeah.
in last expansion. Yeah.
So much just spread damage, and then just these chaos bolts.
Except their CCs DR each other, which is kind of stupid. So
Yep.
The fears are good in
Doesn't
BGs.
matter when you're dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fears are good, but as long as you got a couple druids cycloning or some cyclones being thrown.
My
it's not
favorite
bad.
in
Chaos
Battlegrounds
Bolt.
this week is druids that cyclone the fucking kill target. Hi, if you're a druid and you're in Battlegrounds and you're cycloning the healer we're trying to kill, if you could probably swap over to the other healer that has a full health bar instead of cycloning the healer that has half health or maybe even 3/4 health, because while I'm pumping my chaos bolts and you're completely breaking my burst by CCing the wrong target, okay, thanks. Yeah,
Right.
that happened, guys.
That's the one ability I think I missed the most.
We have
Probably not a
priest
popular opinion,
And a
but
druid, okay? We are getting this druid down. The druid is 3/4 of a way dead. Like, a couple more taps and this guy is dead. Here comes the druid. The druid cyclones him. Why would you cyclone the healer we're killing? Why wouldn't you cyclone the priest right next to him free casting? This priest is free healing. He's throwing his hands up in the air. He's having a jolly good time.
Saying
Why?
Ayo.
Why?
I was doing something
Ayo?
similar to Hots on our undefeated streak, or when we did more
Your
more
four games.
matches.
Your
We
four
Did
games.
he
it was-
CC your kill target?
No, I was being bad because I didn't really understand Shadow Priests, and sometimes in twos I like to do a hard switch, or I like my DPS to just do a hard switch. So I would paralyze his kill target, which dropped all of his dots off, which is just as irritating. Yeah, these two can relate.
As
and it
cycloning
just
the target
yeah,
you're
exactly.
bursting.
And because he's so like just passive, like he never once typed to me to be like, "Yo, Jim, stop that." We finally got into Skype or whatever we were talking in, and it came up. I'm like, why wouldn't you just tell me that? I didn't know.
That's
So
funny.
anyways,
Yeah.
baddie.
So if you're doing randos, guys, be aware and make sure it's good that the cyclone was great. I'm not complaining about the cyclone. The healer's job, the druid's job. If you're a druid, you should be cycloning targets, right? That's just to be what you should do, and you should be cycloning the other healer. Whatever healer we're killing, you should be cycloning the other one. Totally, thank you, and I appreciate that, and I think that was awesome. But I literally was like, "Why are you cycloning my kill target?" And my husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Fucking druids." So,
Cyclone one of those melees so they get off me, please.
Cyclone the DK or the Demon Hunter.
Cyclone his mom.
Something, right? But we are a lot over time, so I think we had a really excellent show. Comment on the
good.
show. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you love. Tell us anything that's just not,
Yeah.
Just tell us.
just tell us.
Everyone should get
Tell-
this sweatshirt.
right?
so
That's a nice
comfortable.
sweatshirt.
You're
Is it still on
new-
sale?
Not on sale, no.
If you're new to PWNCAST, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date for all the PWNCAST things. We are going to go ahead and get the hell on out of here because I have macaroni and cheese that's calling my name.
I was gonna ask.
Whoopity-doo!
Tell
Just
me
kidding.
more.
Wait, do I
tell
get
me
mac and cheese
more.
next week then?
Yes. Mac and cheese next week. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. She's
Ladies on the Menjay.
making my mac and cheese right now because I didn't eat dinner. My desk looks really sad in this office.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
It actually looks like a desk, does it?
Well, it does, and it's never been this empty.
Right.
Did you wipe it off too?
Oh,
Look
yeah.
shiny.
Wipe me down. Oh, Lucy. Whoa, look at that. I've never seen the views of
The what?
There's the vista and the views.
Then there's Dark's desk that's just a mad...
Hashtag Overwatch.
Yeah, no, he's been wowing.
No!